Is Jehovah your God?
No.
So clearly, your God, Allah, is not the same as my God. So don't tell me the same God sent the prophets of the Bible and Muhammad of Islam. Please don't tell this. You think Allah is the name of God, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. If Allah is the name of God, in history, when is it attested for the first time as the primary deity anywhere in the world? Clearly, the word God exists in all sorts of different languages.
Yep.
Now, just because the word God appears in different languages, if anyone claims that is Allah, they are one of the worst nutters the world could ever see. You are a Muslim, sir. Maybe. That's good. But how about yes or no? Any Muslims? All right. I am a Christian. Maybe you can come, my dear friend. Because you're a sensible man. You come, please. I am a Christian. I believe in the Bible. Clearly, yeah? I believe in the Bible.
Yeah, of course you do.
Muslims,
Do you wash yourself?
Muslims,
A real Christian would wash themselves properly. They don't drink no cow poo-poo. Ask him.
Muslims believe in the Quran. I'll tell you, please. You know, it's like if you want to, the cost of why am I a Christian? Because Omar, why am I a Christian? I am a Christian. I'm also trying to speak to everyone as I speak to you. I am a Christian
We know you're Christian. You said that about 100
because the Bible is true, historically true, and on top of being true, on top of being historically true, the Bible also reveals excellent morality. This is why I am a Christian. We so far have spoken about the terrible immorality of the Quran. Now let me focus on whether the Quran could be true or not.
Don't make it personal.
That's the only thing he knows. So please, if you ask him not to make it personal, he can't say anything. Can you look at him? Now,
But you've
To
also
believe-
made personal remarks as well.
about who?
I've heard you. Make
About who?
Well, I can't remember exactly.
I always make remarks retrospectively after I see specific behavioral traits or words communicated. To you, for example, right at the start, say again,
But it's still a personal attack.
not personal attack. I describe what people do.
Yeah.
When people are angry, I say they are angry. When people are raring to do their
I heard
jihad,
you said the word half brain as well. That's a personal attack.
no, the lady said something, I can't remember exactly now. And the Quran says, not me.
Yeah.
The Quran says that Muslim ladies apparently have half brain. I don't think so. That's what the Quran says. So because the Quran says that, now let's deal with the more important problem. Okay, to believe in Islam, you really have to set aside everything. Please, everyone, let's focus. All right, please. Everyone, let's focus. To believe in Islam, you have to set aside everything that we know from history. For example, we know that in history, before 7th century, there was no such thing called Islam as we understand Islam to be. But for the Quran to be true, all of the world, all nations of the world apparently were once Islamic. All of
Jesus was
them.
a Muslim.
But please listen. I'll finish and then you respond. All of the world were Islamic. All of the nations had received an Islamic prophet, apparently, including like what you said, that Jesus was a Muslim. And subsequently, you have, many things. Abraham built the Kaaba in Mecca. Many claims about history. Clearly, you have to believe in nonsense against all odds to be a Muslim. So, which you made one of those. Please, one person conversation. Help me understand, how is Jesus a Muslim? How was Jesus a Muslim?
Because he was the creator, one creator, like me. Like
How was Jesus a Muslim? Well, because
How was-
because he was sent down by by Allah to
How are you a Christian?
What is
How
the...
are you
No.
there is no God but Allah.
Say again.
He said he was sent down by God to
By God, yeah. Not Allah.
God is Allah.
No. This is your delusion. Can you see?
No, it is.
This is a gaslighting, brainwashing, dangerous delusion. Muhammad had the same. Based on which he said, please listen. My Jesus, my God is not Allah. You know, you like I said,
We have the same God.
but please listen.
We do.
But please
The only
listen.
difference we have is that we don't believe that Jesus was God. We believe he's a prophet.
Please.
You talk to him also.
Do you believe in Yehovah?
Talk to your wall is better.
Explain. Go on.
No.
Do you believe in Yehovah?
Jehovah.
He makes sense.
Jehovah.
What's inside of your wall?
He makes sense.
Do you believe in Yehovah to be God?
Brother.
Yeah, so clearly you don't believe in my God. So if you don't, no, you have contradicted yourself in quick succession.
I haven't.
God of the Bible is Yehovah.
Yeah. I think
You said that's not God. That's not your God, clearly. Maybe I'll ask again. Yehovah is God of the Bible. Yehovah is God of all the prophets of the Bible, including the God represented by Jesus. So I'll ask you again, is Yehovah your God?
No.
So clearly, your God, Allah, is not the same as my God. So don't tell me the same God sent the prophets of the Bible and Muhammad of Islam. Please don't tell this. You know what? Removing the identity of people in itself is dangerous.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
agree to disagree. then.
No,
Go
no,
on.
please. Help me understand. No, 1 second. When do you have the first historical evidence for the existence of this God called Allah as the supreme deity? From where do you get the first historical artifact?
The word Allah is used in the Quran.
So listen to I completely understand.
Yeah.
But the question I'm asking you is, you think Allah is the name of God, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. If Allah is the name of God, in history, when is it attested for the first time as the primary deity anywhere in the world?
Well, the Torah was the first book that was sent down.
Does the Torah acknowledge an Allah?
No, but it says God.
No, it doesn't. So here is where I'll ask you again. What's your name? Your name is Omar.
Yeah.
If I ask you when were you born, where were you born, you'll show a document.
Correct.
And if the document has to be original, authentic, it should at least state your name correctly.
Correct.
And should go into further details, which also must be correct, yeah, which also must be reliable. But to start off, at least the name should be correct. So listen to me again. What is the name? What is the name of your God?
Allah.
Allah is the name of your God. So you need to get at least the name right. Maybe you need to get other names also right.
God has 99 names.
Take any name. Take any. Excuse me.
Al-Kareem, Rahim, Rahman.
What is the primary name of your God? How many names have you got?
99.
How many have you got?
How many of, what do you mean?
How many non-surnames, first names have you got? First name, middle name. Have you got a middle name?
Yes.
Yes, so you've got two names.
And I've got
But
last
if someone were to ask your name in an official situation,
Yeah.
which name, at least which name should you have to give?
The first name.
At least the non-middle first name, yeah?
Yeah.
In some documents, including the middle name would be called the first name. In some documents, including the middle name. Now, so in other words, the primary name is very important. Primary name. What is the please listen. Omar, what is the primary name of the God of Islam?
You've asked me that already.
Allah. Give me the first historical artifact that attests the existence of an Allah as a primary deity anywhere in the world.
It comes in the Quran.
7th century or later. Do you have any artifacts from before that time? As
That says
Allah
God, yes.
being the primary deity anywhere in the world?
What I've just said to you, this is where we agree to disagree.
No, that's not the question. Do you know, you haven't answered, do you know of any artifact from anywhere in the world? Please, Omar, listen.
Yeah.
You can't agree to disagree before answering.
Okay.
Answer and then agree to disagree. Before, clearly the name Allah shows up in your Quran. Completely agreed.
Correct.
Before the Quran, is there any other historical artifact, literary or archaeological, that attests to the existence of a primary deity called Allah anywhere in the world?
I've just answered that question.
Wait, what is the answer?
I've just said.
What is the answer?
I've said no.
No. So clearly, based on evidence, one second. Based on evidence, no. What? Yeah.
Because it did not have a label doesn't mean it did not exist.
Evidence.
Yeah.
If two people, if a person says he's, you can come here and say you are Donald Trump.
Yeah.
When you say you are Donald Trump, what would make me take you seriously versus take you as seriously in some other way and avoid contact is whether your claim is attestable or not. If you're truly Donald Trump, if the true Donald Trump shows up here and if he says I am Donald Trump, I'll be more than glad to approach him, shake his hand, speak to him more. Yeah. But if you come here and say you are Donald Trump, I'll be wary. If this guy says he's Donald Trump now, next thing he does, who knows what that is going to be. You know what I mean? It's called mental delusion. People with mental ailment can do anything. They'll be unpredictable. And that is where evidence is crucial to distinguish what is a delusion from what a true fact of history is. Allah, when there is no evidence from pre-7th century, based on rationality, reason, if we have to make a conclusion, we should conclude that Allah was introduced as the primary deity in the 7th century, period. Not before that, he did not exist. So when the Christians say...
I've just told you my side of the argument there.
What is the side?
Is that Allah is God in Arabic, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Listen carefully. Omar, what does the word Omar mean?
This argument means that God did not exist before 7th century.
I'll give you another example.
one of the names of okay.
My name is Arul.
Yeah.
My name in Tamil means blessing or grace. Yeah. The word blessing or grace exists in English. Yeah. But a record of the word Arul in English is different to the record of a word blessing in English. I would expect to find the word blessing recorded in the literary artifacts of England a long time before the first Tamil stepped in England. With me? Before any Tamil showed up in England, because blessing is an English word, I expect the word blessing to be somewhere in artifacts. But the word Arul, I don't expect to be anywhere in England as an artifact until the first Tamil showed up here. With me so far? The point that I am trying to make is not whether Allah means God or not. I am now focused on the name Allah in Arabic, which the Muslims consider to be the primary name of Allah, the Islamic Allah. Now, clearly the word Arab God exists in all sorts of different languages. Now, just because the word God appears in different languages, if anyone claims that is Allah, they are one of the worst nutters the world could ever see. Which is what would happen when people are brainwashed. Like you agreed last time, you read Quran without understanding because you didn't read Quran in Arabic. And so, you're a lovely man. I genuinely think maybe you have 5% to correct and maybe, who knows, you leave Islam and become a Christian. Whereas the rest, it's too much. But in your case, do we now agree for Islam to be attested in history, we need to have Allah recorded in history in Arabic or a transliteration in some other language, but yet as Allah, because Allah is meant to be his primary name. My name is Arul. It's still recorded in English as the transliterated Arul. Even though that in itself is an approximation.
Yeah, but based on that argument doesn't really stand tall, because what you're saying is Allah came 700 years after the Bible did, correct? That's what you're saying.
7th century.
Yeah, 7th century.
Or later, as a primary deity anyway.
So based on that same argument, Buddhists and Hindus believe in something that went on 2,000-3,000 years ago. So wouldn't they be the primary deity?
No. My point. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
My point is not that your Allah. My point is not. My point is to focus merely on your claim
Yeah.
that Jesus was sent by Allah. That no other Jewish prophets were sent by Jehovah were sent by Allah. I am merely saying none of them claimed Allah sent them. None of them did. If Allah was the primary name of the God who sent them, they should have said Allah sent us, which is not what they did. They always said Jehovah sent us, which is the primary name of God of the Bible. And therefore, for Muslims to say that Allah sent Jesus,
Because the Arabic
it is
language-
delinquent.
Yeah, it's because the Torah was in Hebrew in those days. Okay?
More importantly,
But-
whether Torah was in Hebrew or not,
Yeah.
Allah is a name that could have been transliterated in Hebrew. Not translated, but transliterated.
No, not
but
Allah.
it wasn't.
God was translated. Just like from my side of the argument,
Please listen.
Allah
Let's say
means
I
God.
met Moses in person.
believe-
One second, Omar. 1500 BC. Let's say I met Moses in person, and let's say I was the cupbearer of Moses. Let's say, yeah. And if my name were to be written in the Torah, how would it be written?
it would be written, I don't know, because Arul is a Tamil name, isn't it?
Yes, but if
Okay.
my name, which is a Tamil name, were to be written in the Torah, how would it be written?
I wouldn't know because I don't. Well, probably written as Arul then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we do with names.
Yeah.
Aleph, Resh, Lamed. Lamed. That's how it should have been written. Yeah? It's
very
no, please
similar
listen.
to Arabic.
No, please.
That's very similar. Those
Irrelevant.
Arabs are very
I am making a more important point right now. My name, even though it is in a different language, would be transliterated into the local Torah, Hebrew. Yeah? If Allah was sent, Allah had sent Moses. If Allah had sent Moses, then even though the Torah was written in Hebrew, Allah must have been written down in Hebrew in the Torah, which is not the case. Torah's God was given the primary name, eternal name, Yehovah.
Okay.
In other words, for Muslims to claim Adam was a Muslim, they are delinquent. They are delinquent beyond measure.